we should be consciously a place where African American, the diaspora, want to invest their money into, in a place where they want to see a black nation that can do things that will make them proud, that can experiment things.
Welcome to the Economy and Politics Conversation. I'm Moto Abasebasekon. This edition, we're looking at Nigeria and the quest for an articulated economic diplomacy. My guest is Professor Anthony Kila, he's an international relations expert. It's great to have you on the program, Prof.
Thank you for having me.
Let's first begin with Nigeria's foreign policy approach. Over the years, we've known that we're non-aligned, not idealist or realist. Is that still the case at the moment?
I think it is safe to say that our default position is a non-aligned position. That is what we've been tend to be, although once in a while we seem to veer off a bit from that. One of the things we're consistent with is peace. We seem, definitely we have not been aggressor of any country. And even when we've been victim at some point, overall, we've dealt with it in a peaceful way, even sometimes in a submissive peaceful way, but definitely a peaceful way. There's something missing in our international relations and diplomacy formulation generally, that we don't seem to come out with a big statement, a big picture. We seem to be tactical. We just get along with it. We've not come up to say this is our view of the world. Like or loathe America, like or loathe Donald Trump. He's come out to show his view of the world with his less engagement, isolationism, and things like that. So our leadership seems to like that. In terms of a philosophical or strategic level. Coupled with that, on operational level, the flaw we have is this lack of ambassadors, which honestly, I think is such a strange thing. It's because it's so obvious why you should have ambassadors. And the fact that we don't have it, I'm coming to think maybe that's the reason why we do not know. But it must be a reason that is very difficult to fathom, because generally speaking, one sees why we should have it. And the fact that we don't have it is affecting us.
Now, we are at the ground of the Nigerian Institute for International Affairs, which plays a very critical role as a think tank shaping our foreign policy, providing those professionals that articulate our foreign policy. Is there still a linkage between the NIA and our foreign policy strategy?
Well, I don't know if the government is speaking up. I know the Institute is doing its best to provide it. We continue to have conversations, roundtables, and seminars here. Indeed, the Commonwealth Institute that I direct as well. So we continue to have this thing. We talk with Cambridge, we talk with other countries. You never know if the government is receptive until they ask things. Certainly, I think it doesn't seem like. Let's put it that way. I think the government can be more proactive and can be more consistent in what they're doing. At the moment, we seem to have a one ambassador for Nigeria, which is the president. He's the one marketing the country everywhere. I think it's a good thing, but I think it's not enough. I think there are some, little benefits that can be accrued if we had, say, 100 ambassadors marketing Nigeria, defending Nigeria, projecting Nigeria every day. That would do a lot of more. You just think about it that way.
Let's look at economic diplomacy, which is very critical for any country that wants to be strategic in the world. As we look at all the geopolitical shifts from the G7 to the BRICS, how should Nigeria situate itself at this time?
So the two things needed. One is the philosophy. Two is the operation. So, idea then practice. And it would be good if we package it together, put it together. It would be good, for example, if we had a foreign diplomacy team that actually has the theme of economic diplomacy. Like this is our framework for economic diplomacy, and where people are tasked to deliberate on and implement policies that will bring benefits to Nigeria, international trade, FDI, foreign direct investment, partnership, joint ventures, exchange, and private partnership, those kind of things. So we sit down critically and say that from the BRICS, what they were expecting from the AU, from the EU, from ECOWAS, from each country. What is it we're expecting for them? And we can predict this thing before it happens, rather than just taking it. We can say to ourselves, I want the ambassador to France or to Italy or to Lome or to, anywhere to say, these are the things I expect from you even before you go there. Besides the one you're going to deal with when you get there. This is why you're going there in terms of economy, in terms of security, in terms of culture. I would want a foreign affairs ministry and a presidency that reasons along that line. And I think that's what's going to help us, yes.
Geopolitics is really the defining global affairs. Where is Nigeria in all the scheme of things, and how does Nigeria position itself?
You see, at the moment, what we have is an open field where those who are interested in us come to us. They're finding us. Imagine if we were looking for them. Imagine if every newspaper in the world, Corriere della Sera in Italy, the Times in England, Der Spiegel in Germany, imagine you have all these papers in the world where they had intervention about Nigeria, offering what we have, requesting what we need. Just putting ourselves on the stage. But that will require deliberate effort. Somehow, let us put it the way we're going is organic. We need something that is boosted, to speak the language of the new world. We need something that is more deliberate, proactive, intentional, guided, not just receptive. That is what I think we need.
As we have gotten signals that we may be seeing the appointment of new ambassadors, what kind of ambassadors do we need to drive our foreign policy at this time?
I think we should be deliberate about choosing ambassadors, and it should not be in reaction to what is going now, but it should be an action in view of what we would like to achieve in a year or two time. My thinking is the ambassadors we should have should be people who are knowledgeable about Nigeria, knowledgeable about the country they're going into, aware of what Nigeria needs from that country, aware of what Nigeria can offer that country, and very importantly, should have the personality to be able to articulate this thing. It's not enough to do a 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month ambassadors crash course. You should look at people that even before they're nominated, even from behind, before they're nominated, you look at their profile, you look at their history, the antecedent, and you have a view that this person can do it. I think that's the kind of thing we ought to be thinking. You should know why somebody's been sent to Germany rather than Italy. There should be a kind of history to know why this country, if it's going there. Because of the diaspora we have now, we have people who perhaps have lived there, studied there, but we also have people who have general knowledge of the world, that have an exposure, that people who have an idea about these countries. Perhaps they know their history. Better still if they know their language, but not necessarily, but it's a plus. If they can, the key thing that they should be able to express themselves well. This is an information led world now. And there should be people who are knowledgeable about things and that can articulate their position and, good personality. If you take somebody there whose major thing is to buy himself a house there, well, we're going to be in trouble. If you put somebody there whose major interest is to see how many people can get visas for, and all of a sudden, all his aides are his family members, we're going to be in trouble. They won't be able to think big. So you need somebody who will not be so awed by the place, but that can learn from there, yes. I do not believe in the myth of, use technocrats. I think some political people too can do well. They just have to fit that bill. That is all.
Professor Anthony Kila, you've been lecturing international relations for decades now. I'd like to ask you, what should be Nigeria's priority for its foreign policy going forward?
I believe Nigeria should take away itself from issues of war and focus on culture and economy. We should design an economy that focuses on culture and economy. That is what can really take us. We should be a place, just as some people in Nigeria and Africa think of going to New York or London. We should be the place where people in Finland, in New York, want to go to in Africa because of our culture. We should be consciously a place where African American, the diaspora, want to invest their money into, in a place where they want to see a black nation that can do things that will make them proud, that can experiment things. I believe we should think of some key areas that we can excel in. health economy, travel economy, aviation economy, culture economy. These are things that we can do, and they can not only generate the much needed FDI, foreign direct investment, they'll create job and wealth and put us on the map as a place people will respect. And whilst we're at it, the cultural thing as well, I'm still looking at how people can come from Cuba and the rest of the world to come and do pilgrimage in Oshu and Ife, as others are going to Mecca and Jerusalem. We need to think along those lines.
This has been an illuminating and enlightening conversation on Nigeria's foreign policy and the quest for economic diplomacy. Thank you very much, Professor Anthony Kila, international relations expert, for giving us the time to have this conversation. It was really, really worth the while. Thank you once again.
Thank you for having me.
To our viewers, that will be all for this edition of the Economy and Politics Conversation. If you want to get further insights on this conversation, log on to our website displayed on the screen and follow our social media handles that are showing. To come your way again, I'm Otoba Sebasekong. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.